much phlegm. Good sunny day, everybody. It's your friendly intergalactic solar prince of the sun, Enyo Solaris, at my service. I need something to say after the end of... I'm still working on my intro bit, okay? It's been like 3 months. Still working on my intro bit. Hi, it's Azerad here. How's it going?
It's going good.
I need background music. I think the last time... No. What did we do last time? Oh, yeah, last time you died. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Yeah, I don't know. Things went awful. But I will say, movie wasn't bad. I didn't love it, but it wasn't bad.
The movie wasn't bad?
Yeah.
What do you mean, wasn't bad? Yeah,
You think it was bad?
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? Wait, pretty good?
Yeah.
What do you mean, pretty good? It's the best movie ever. What the?
I got to watch the movie. I got the kids because thankfully I wasn't streaming it. So.
Dude, streaming it's also not like actually no, it is on streaming services. We talked about how it's like on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess since there's not a whole lot to say about these batch of episodes, we could talk brief. And also, you died during the movie. We can talk briefly on the movie. I thought it was good. Again, it was nothing like super outstanding, but like. You know, I think they did a good job of setting up Sana as, like, a sympathetic character, and then the death scene was really sad.
Yeah, it had a really sad scene. I like the animation at certain points. It was very, like,
I was gonna say...
different from what you see from the anime.
Yeah, especially at this point in the anime. Like, the anime is not, like... There's not... Again, I think we've talked about this several times. It doesn't look bad, but, like, it's not up to snuff, you know? It increases in quality dramatically as it goes. So, going from, like, episode, like, 60 to, like, the anime to, like, the movie is, like, a big jump in quality, so yeah. And it has that movie thing I like about how they go to, like, there's, like, a festival in town. I think, like, all the Pokemon movies do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. And they also spoiled us on Rukia's power. But then in this actual batch of episodes, they revealed it, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's cool. They don't really make that big of a show of it. She just kind of insta-kills somebody, and they're like, wow, isn't her Zanpakuto beautiful? Okay, anyway. That's it.
And then, I won't even say, I'll wait till we talk about the episodes, because I'm not a big fan. I think the movie actually shows off for Shikai way better than...
I would have to say, yeah. Maybe that's why they decided to show it off in the movie first. It was probably just for the manga readers, because I think, you know, the video games do this all the time, where, like, they... spoil things outwards of what the actual thing is showing off. Like the game that I was playing, the Bleach PS2 game. I don't know if you saw too much of that stream, but it's a cool Bleach PS2 game. I recommend it. It's a kind of button mashy, but it has some cool mechanics. But yeah, that opening, at least the opening, has spoilers all the way up to like episode 64, which is why I waited until then to play it. But like, it was released around like episode like 30 of the anime. So like,
jeez,
you know, like they showed off Renji's Bankai, but it was like the wrong color.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, I don't know. I do want to finish it. That might be a soonish stream. Because it is a very simple game, but it is weirdly fun to play just because you get to hit things as a sword with Ichigo. And that game is like weird as heck. So I'd recommend downloading it. I mean, getting PlayStation 2. Anyway,
it's a.
Yeah, what's up?
I was gonna say it's got that old PS2 charm.
Yeah, old PS2 charm. That's what we'll say. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the movie was really good. I knew it was sad, but like. I don't know, man. That scene of Senna on Ichigo's back, and then she just kind of disintegrates, and then Ichigo falls to his knees and starts crying. I'm like, ah! That got me. I'm not gonna lie, that really got me. That one shot, that one like slow pan up shot, and then she slowly disappears, and Ichigo's like arm falls to his side, and he falls to his knees. Ah! That was really bad. I'm a sucker for things like that, so I would understand if you're a little mid on it, but.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't get a full connection with Senna. I thought she's a very cute character design. I like how she looks. She's like kind of fun at the start of the movie, but I wasn't like super invested where I was like, no, like I wasn't in Ichigo's position at all.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a crybaby, or maybe I've seen the movie a couple of times, so I have more connection with Senna. But anyway, yeah, and as you were saying in the DMs last time, yeah, the plot of the movie makes no goddamn sense other than there was a valley of screams that opened up between dimensions, and also the blanks were like, I don't know, man, it doesn't matter. The highlight of that movie was Senna. Everything else was like either eye candy, which was like cool to look at, or just like completely nonsensical.
Yeah, I will also say it feels a little bit out of character for Ichigo to be cutting off people's arms. Like, one of the first times he
cut people
pulls up.
He cut Yami's arm off at the beginning of this.
Yeah, I guess
I have a screenshot of it. I've been trying to take more screenshots.
But before this, but I mean, Yami was really doing some trouble. This guy, I guess so was this guy a little bit, but
yeah, it's just maybe they were like, oh, I guess that maybe they read ahead in the manga and saw like, oh, I guess this is something Ichigo does, and then was like, okay, I guess Ichigo just cuts off people's arms now. That's his thing. That's his new signature thing, is that he cuts off. Hi guys, it's the Bleach. My favorite thing about Bleach, we got main characters with swords that cut people's arms off, and not actual cleaning products. It's a metaphorical cleaning product. They're bleaching the souls so they can live off in the afterlife or whatever. I don't know, man. Anyway, talking about this arc, I will say, yeah, you were talking about this before the stream. Nothing kind of, I mean, okay, listen, this is the kind of the lull of the series. I would have to say, like, around, like, the next, like, 40, 50 episodes. I mean, like, cause listen, maybe we're just spoiled because, like, cause these episodes aren't, like, bad. It's just, like, compared to episode 1 to 64, or 1 to 63, which is, like, some of the best, like, anime shonen out there, like, fight after fight, cool characters, really interesting concepts. They just kind of, like, I mean, this arc still has something, but it's very, like, it has bad pacing issues. If this arc was, like, twice as fast, then it would do a lot.
Can I ask you a question about that, actually?
What's up?
So you watched, up until this point, you were watching this week to week, right? Or
I didn't start watching week to week until, like, after this. I think it wasn't, it was, like, 150 something.
I was going to ask, because I really wonder how it feels to be, like, a Bleach fan back then. And because we didn't even talk about how there's a large gap of episodes between this and actually 60. It was 40 episodes of filler.
When I first got into the series and I had no idea what filler was, like, oh, it was so bad. I was thinking, like, because in general, like, the general consensus of Bleach is that, like, yeah, the first, like, 63 episodes, like, everybody loves it. But then, like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, after that, it's all awful. And I think there's a lot of factors that come into this. I think this arc in general is poorly paced, but also, like, you notice that we skipped episodes 64 to 109 because those are all boring bout filler episodes, and I have seen those, like, once when I watched the series for the first time, like, 15 years ago.
And I tried to watch them when I did my first Bleach watch, last year, whenever I got around to watching. And I got, like, 5-6 episodes into it, and I really couldn't. The drop in quality is so insanely huge.
Yeah. And immediately gets dumb. Like, they exact, like, episode 64, they, like, oh yeah, her brother comes back, and then, like, oh, he opened a gate to hell, and then they run through a museum for, like, 40 minutes.
Yeah, oh my god,
and then it's all,
and they're putting
it's all just an illusion.
Phone booths.
And then it's all just an illusion. It was a test, haha. We fooled you. But yeah, and then the entirety of the Bound arc is that.
It's painful, and in my opinion, it's a bit sad to say, but this little, like, batch of episodes here isn't that much of a step above. Like, it is a step above because you get to see like characters fight and like brand new like interesting character designs like
And it's also not as long. Like
that too. Yeah, this is very short.
Like the bound arc, what is, I can't do that math. 64 to 109. I think that's like 37 or 40. We're doing the math live on camera. 46 episodes. So it's not 46 episodes, because the point where I will say that the series starts to pick up, I would say there's this 18 episodes, and then the next 12 episodes is also a little bleh, but then after that it picks up to like 30. So like, what I was saying earlier is like, I think really like, especially with the anime only fans, definitely turned on Bleach, because you get like the best 63 episodes of shonen, and then you get awful filler, and then you get like the weakest part of the manga, and then they continue to pad it out with more filler. Like, we in our rewatch we'll also skip wait, do I have the wrong thing on here? Because we're not talking about 149. Am I stupid? Hold on.
Oh yeah, you do. You used to have 138 to 149 or 110 to 127.
Yeah, but you'll see that I skipped hold on, I fixed it. Yeah, there's like even more filler after that. So it's just dumb. Where the fudge? Okay, yeah, I noticed where I went wrong. I'm fixing it! At least I have that for next time, right? Oh, frick. Don't look at it. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. How do I turn that off? Okay. I keep hitting buttons. I should really remap my hotkeys. But I don't know what I would remap them to. That also would not be an issue. Okay, everything's fine. I'm fixing it.
It's being fixed.
But yeah, there's like 40 episodes, and then like the weakest part of the manga, and then there's even still continues to be like episodes here and there that are like not that great.
And I also want to mention that even so, at the time it must have been bad, but even for people like me getting in now, you should skip the filler. You absolutely should. But even if you do, it's not as seamless as, say, other long-running shonens that have filler arcs, because at the beginning, actually, throughout this whole arc here, 110 to 127, you have bound characters that appear, and if you skip the filler, you really won't know what's happening.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second, but just to finish my thought earlier, yeah, so there's like 47 episodes of that, and then 27... like 28 to like another like 6-8 episodes. There's just another bunch of fillers. So like, it's not but listen, okay, so it is a lull, but you know, if you skip the all the fillers and just go through like these 30 episodes like super fast, like just binge them, then it's really not that bad. That I would have to say, you know, like, yeah, it is definitely like the low point of the series, but like, it's not like awful, and you can get through it fast, as opposed to, again, if you were watching it in real time, like, that was like a year?
Yikes.
Because like the bound was like 40 episodes week by week. That's like a year, yeah. So yeah, don't worry about that one. I was complaining because when I got into Bleach week by week around like episode 150, and then especially like near the end of like that arc, they just started doing random 1 episode fillers, which was really annoying, but like at least I didn't have to wait a year. But yeah, again, on the rewatch, you can skip things. But yeah, as you were saying, some of the characters filler characters kind of stick around. And they'll also like talk about certain times. Like they'll refer to listen, I appreciate the attempt to try to make the filler episodes feel important, like try to integrate the filler into the canon. It doesn't work though. It just ends up dragging down the canon episodes.
It drags on the canon episode, and it makes it really hard sometimes to suggest, hey, just skip the filler, because people like me will skip it and then be like, what is this bird doing here?
What is
Who
this?
is it?
Why are there 3 cones now? What hath this god forsaken this world onto? But yeah, I don't know.
I do like the designs of them though, and I like that they show up in. I think it's one of the openings in this batch of episodes. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
the opening where that cone sings the first part of. That's,
yeah.
I think some of my favorite bit of opening. I love when openings do that, where they have certain characters like sing part of the song. It's really funny. There's like I think it's for like the iPhone game. They have Aizen like sing a line. It's really funny.
Of all characters.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I really wish anime studios were more open to doing like director's cuts. Because like again, like when they're during like a fight, like during like when Grand Fisher comes back as an Arrancar and tries to kill Cone, like in the middle of that, the filler characters try to help and then do nothing. Like they just show up, waste time, and then go away. Like they're not helpful at all. They don't do anything, and it's awful.
It's really bad, but it's at the same time it's like they can't be doing anything because like I assume the show's writing staff knows that we can't mess with the manga too much. So
yeah, but
I don't know.
Luckily, that doesn't happen again. This is the only time they try to do that. Because, like,
yeah.
After this, like, pretty much, like, after, like, this lull of episodes, another reason why this is kind of, like, the lull of the series. I'm not gonna say, like, low point, because, like, it's not bad. I would say the lowest it gets is, like, a high 6 out of 10, maybe. It never becomes bad. It just becomes like a little bit boring. But yeah, they never do that again. And after the series, and they go away and the series picks up. Just trust me. Listen, just get for these 500 episodes. Then the series gets really good. The series really, listen, the video game really starts at the 200-hour mark. You're not really playing the video game until then. Listen, Kid Icarus Uprising gets good after you play it for 100 hours, and then you get used to the controls, and it's the perfect game.
That's right.
He agrees. You should play Uprising.
I should.
Anyway.
I'm surprised it's still playable online. Anyways.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, I mean, they do try to do that later in the series, but, like, they do a better job at integrating the filler into the canon anyway, because, like, I see we're talking about Kid Icarus on a Bleach stream. Shh! Yeah, because they do, like, later filler arcs, like, kind of pretend that they're part of the canon, but they never, like, interfere with the canon episodes like this. So, we'll take it. Oh yeah, dude, Rolling Star is a good opening. I like there's a shot in the Rolling Star opening of Ichigo, like, taking out his sword and having his sword sheath kind of, like, spins around his sword and then he does Bankai. Ah, it's sick! I love it. It's a good opening. Remember that opening?
Was this part of this batch of episodes?
Yeah, it was like...
I know the song. I don't really remember the visuals of the opening.
I think there was, like... It was mostly them just running around in the town and fighting hollows. That was pretty much it. And then Ichigo does Bankai at the end. There's a shot in the opening for a split second that spoilers everything. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, the part where that, like, destroys Karakura Town. Did they talk about that in this arc, or are we talking about a different arc? Are you talking about the part that, like, it flashes, like, Shinji and Rangiku on for, like, half a second? You might be crazy. Tevin, you might be crazy.
Well, Shinji does show up in this arc.
By Shinji,
introduction.
By Shinji, I meant Gin, by the way. Gin and Rangiku. Did I say Shinji and Rangiku?
No, Gin's not in this opening, I don't think.
I'd be crazy.
Maybe I shouldn't be talking about an opening I know nothing about.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, the series does it. This part in the series is kind of a bit of a low point, but oh yeah, playing with Karakura Town, the shot of the Karakura Town kind of like disappearing. That does show up in this batch of episodes, but yeah, it's after this opening stops playing, so I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, anyway, listen, it's like 30 episodes with my filler list, so, it's fine. It's fine. Listen, no series is perfect. The series definitely does pick up, afterwards. You just gotta give it a little bit of time, you know?
And from what I'm told, the filler going forward never gets as bad as it does.
Yeah, there are actually some filler arcs. There are 2 filler arcs in particular that I do want to include in this rewatch. But we'll get to that later. Because it's not until, like, way later that they start doing weird and interesting things with the filler arcs. Kateko's big gaping hole. Could you not phrase it like that? We're trying to get out of the sexual innuendos, because that's happened too many times in these Bleach discussions. But yeah, anyway, series kind of lull. Filler characters stick around. They suck, but they never come back again. Like, they do just disappear and never come back. And actually, the episodes, like, after, like, between 127 and 138, some of they do do things during those filler episodes, but, like, they're still filler episodes, so, like, I don't know. It's an interesting idea of, like, introducing filler characters that are kind of, like, in the background, and then they come back in later filler episodes, so, like, there is, like, a filler canon. It's an interesting idea, but, like, not pulled off well at all. Because, like, if you have to have filler, like, okay, try to have some continuity between the filler. Try to have, like, an ongoing story or character arc or reoccurring characters in the filler that can be developed. But it's just not done.
Yeah, it was a pretty poor decision, and it's kind of a reason why I don't really care too much for this specific arc, because you still have filler baggage to deal with.
Yeah, you're not alone. A lot of people don't like this art. Don't drop to Bleach at this point in the series.
Which is a shame, because I don't know, can we start talking about some of the new characters that do show up in this arc?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this arc does introduce one of my favorite Bleach characters, and he kind of, like, one of the bigger antagonists that isn't Aizen, which is Grimjow.
Hell yeah, Grimjaw. Cool.
Yeah, he is. I think he is a favorite Bleach character for a good reason, and I think his introduction here is actually, in my opinion, a better version of, like, Renji's and Byakuya's introduction.
I was gonna say
you really do get to see him fight.
Yeah. First of all, I might have a little boy crush on him. He's one of my favorite.
I think we all do.
I have a thing for bad boys, and he's just like, you see Ukiura comes back and is like, oh yeah, they're all dumb, they're not even worth killing, and he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna go and murder all of them, and then he kind of does. I mean, he gets interrupted before he can actually kill anyone, but he is like a big threat. And yeah, I think he does have, like, good rivalry, because, like, there's more of a story, like, with Renji and Byakuya, but they never felt like true, like, antagonists. They just felt like, you know, they were representing something that Ichigo was fighting. Unlike Grimjow.
Circumstances.
Yeah, like, Renji and Byakuya kind of, like, represented, like, the evil of the Soul Society and them trying to, like, uphold, like, some sort of moral code and law and whatever. So Ichigo was really fighting against that in the first arc, but this arc, like, it's Grimjow. He's fighting Grimjow. And, like, Grimjow's a jackass. Grimjow wants his whole family dead. Yeah, and he really, like, antagonizes Ichigo a lot and, like, really just, like, kind of, like, hits Ichigo where it hurts. Because, like, Renji and Byakuya were like, oh yeah, we just want to protect Rukia, blah, blah, blah. Where Grimjaw's like, oh, you're a weak little baby, and that's exactly what Ichigo doesn't want to be. Grimjaw's a good antagonist in that regard, where Ichigo's goal is to be a protector and be powerful enough to be a protector. But Grimjaw's like, no, you're weak, you're not even strong as me, I don't even need to go full power on you, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I like his trash talk. I like that he's, like, very unique. Despite Bleach having this good thing, problem, whatever you want to call it, despite Bleach introducing a million characters every other arc, Grimjow, in my opinion, stands out a lot. And while I do like him, I don't like the rest of the Arrancar that are introduced in this arc, really. Especially the ones that come to Karakura Town.
Yeah, everybody else just kind of shows up, dies immediately, other than
Yeah.
Grimmjow, Yami, who isn't that interesting, and Ukiora, who becomes an interesting character later, but currently is not very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's also another problem with the Vizards, is like, the Vizards become interesting characters later, but currently they are not, you have no reason to care about them.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame, but I think it's mostly fine because again, Grimmjow,
He
the
carries.
fact that he kind of gets this much attention makes up for the fact because not to go too in depth with it later, but later on, a lot of Arrancars and a lot of Vizards get like really good amount of attention. So it's good that Grimmjow gets it right now because he definitely would not have been sharing it with some of those other characters, I think.
Yeah, and he does have like character development where like, you know, he does a reckless thing and gets all of his like his followers killed or whatever, his subordinates killed, and then Tozen cuts off and destroys his arm, and then he gets kicked out of the Esparta, and that like hurts his pride, and that's an interesting thing going on with an evil character. And his design is sick. He has one of the coolest, like, all the Arrancar have like broken mask designs, which I think in general is a really cool like design concept. But like Grimmjow pulls it off really well. Like he has like that like tiger claw that gives him like a permanent like evil smile. Like it's really sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I love his design here. I love it so much that I wish it never changes. I hope he looks like this all the time, every time.
He's got the abs. He's got the full. He's barely wearing a shirt.
He's just a really cool dude. I really, really like Grimmjow.
Yeah,
and
blue hair is another interesting design choice.
Yeah, especially because at this point in the series, like the only character who's had like a kind of crazy anime color hair is Renji. Everyone else has like,
and Ichigo, because
color.
people talk about Ichigo's crazy hair color.
Yeah, but I mean, like I guess like to me, like it's still kind of blonde. I guess so it's not too out there. I mean, it's out there probably for Japan and Japanese.
Yeah,
people.
I was thinking, doesn't Orihime also have like orange hair? Why does nobody comment on that? Is Orihime's hair color supposed to be more natural than Ichigo's?
It's a very good question. I wonder why. I wonder.
Oh yeah, also Grimmjaw's mask like does like open up when he laughs. Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, and also the animation, like again, the anime is not like super animated yet, but like for some reason, like during the fight with Ichigo, like there's like a lot of animation of like Ichigo staggering to get like falling and spinning around and staggering to get back up, and Grimmjow kind of dancing around. Like, do you remember the animation in that fight?
I remember it being like good.
Yeah, it's like really like weirdly. Oh yeah, I think you're right. Orihime does get bullied for her hair. I think that's why she cut it initially. I'm not 100% sure. It was such a minor point that it doesn't super matter. I'm looking for a gif of Grimmjow dancing, and I can't find it.
Oh yeah, what's also cool about Ichigo fighting Grimmjow is that it really makes the rest of the filler look stupid because I believe, at least from what I've seen of the little bit of Bound arc, he like chooses not to go Bankai a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that last episode about how Bankai is cool because they never hold back on Bankai, but for some reason in the filler they do and it's dumb. I remember that being a really annoying part of the filler where Ichigo gets his ass beaten and he just doesn't go Bankai. I mean,
yeah, and in this arc they really kind of like prove that point where it's like, okay, Ichigo will just go Bankai when he wants to, and the captains do have like a pretty good I forget the reasoning exactly, something about their Gigais or something, or it messing up the world if they go Bankai. But,
I don't want to look. Just look at this GIF. I found the GIF. I found the Grimmjow dancing GIF.
Oh yeah, dude, he's like bobbing and weaving.
He was like, he's really getting into that fight. He's having a good time. But yeah, anyway, Yeah, that fight was really good. And I guess Ichigo kind of has a reasoning for not wanting to go Bankai, because he goes Bankai and then like, oh, the hollow inside of him starts taking over, so maybe that's why.
Right.
But the only real thing that it implied was like the Black Getsuga Tensho is like Hollow Ichigo's technique, and that like makes so it doesn't seem like going Bankai in general makes Hollow Ichigo go out of control. It's just, yeah, I don't know, because also in the filler arc, there's a part where Hollow Ichigo took over, and Ichigo was in his Shikai anyway. He wasn't even in his full power. It's dumb. But filler's dumb. Also, what you were saying, what you were saying earlier about the captains and lieutenants having power restrictions, that's also dumb. That's not in the filler. That's just anime manga dumb. Because, like,
Yeah.
they mentioned it once, like, during Ichigo's rematch with Renji. Renji's like, oh, I'm 5 times more powerful now because in the world of the living, captains and lieutenants have to have a limiter on their power that limits their power from, like, 5 to 10 times or whatever. And then in Soul Society, he doesn't have that. And then they brought that back where they're, like, getting their ass beat up, and then they're waiting for confirmation for something, and then they get confirmation of release the limiter, and then they just defeat the opponents in, like, one hit. That's stupid. Again,
Yeah.
Bleach is it's really random, because Bleach is really good about not doing power level shenanigans. Because, like, I mean, it kind of seems like, oh, Ichigo has Bankai, and now, that Bankai he needs to get a power beyond Bankai, and blah, blah, blah. But, like, really, it's just, I think it has to do with Ichigo's Bankai specifically, because Grimmjow comments on the fact that the only thing Ichigo's Bankai really does is give him more speed, and it doesn't really give him, like, power. The flip phones. But yeah, I think it's Ichigo's Bankai in particular that, like, it gives him a lot of speed, and that let him beat Byakuya's Bankai, which, it was a good matchup against Byakuya's Bankai, and Ichigo just got really lucky. Because, like, Byakuya's Bankai just covers a wide area, so being able to move really fast to avoid all the little petals is good against Byakuya, but, like, as far as, like, raw power is, like, Grimmjow has, then Ichigo's Bankai kind of falls up short. And I think that's a really interesting part of the series, where, like, it's not just kind of, like, what power level you have. It's not like all Bankai are created equal. It's like Ichigo has a specific weakness in his Bankai that he has to try to cover up.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, with that Lieutenant, Captain, World of the Living nonsense, like, it's just dumb and just waste time, and they never do it again. Spoiler alert, Bleach is really good about not doing power level shenanigans like that. So, yeah, it's dumb. But it never, again, a lot of part about this arc is dumb, but it never happens again. Like, 2 interesting character arcs happen in this, batch of episodes where Orihime is really talking about how, like, you know, she's really, she's frustrated about how useless she is. She wasn't able to do anything in the Soul Society. Chad gets beat up. One of her little fairies gets exploded. You know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Ichigo has depression and she couldn't do anything about it, but then Rukia shows up and then makes him feel better in like 2 seconds. You know, and everyone also constantly complains like, oh yeah, when we go fight against the Arrancar, you have to can't be in the fight because you're a healer, blah blah blah, and she's really frustrated about that. Like, that's a good character arc that Orihime goes through, and it is important for her character later, but, like, we did not need to spend so much time on it. Like, the thing about this arc is it's just too long. If they just took this episode and the next batch of episodes and just halved them, then this arc would be, like, 10 times better.
Yeah.
So, I blame Shonen Jump. I blame Shonen Jump magazine.
I probably do too, because I don't think there's many shonens I usually see where a prelude to an arc is this long, or even like happens at this point in the series. Because at this point in the manga, and if you're skipping filler for the anime, this is the like second major arc.
Yeah.
You know, the Karakura Town stuff at the beginning is all just more establishing and world building, really well done. Then you have the Soul Society, which is the first major like actual conflict.
And then they,
So,
and then they just kind of try to do the Karakura town again, but it's worse.
way worse, yeah.
Because there's not as many interesting things going on. Like, we get introduced to all of Ichigo's friends and a lot of, like, the Soul Society mechanics of the world. There's, like, a new thing happening every episode where, like, in this, like, oh yeah, let's spend, like, 3 episodes fighting these random Arrancars that we're never gonna see again.
Yeah, I also think killing off these Arrancars, really bad idea. And it is something that I do think the Soul Society does way better, because none of the major Soul Reapers necessarily die in that arc right away. Like, none of the lieutenants or captains just get totally one-offed and jobbed and killed.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like with every other arc after it, with the Arrancars and whatever comes out after, Tide Kubo seems to really like introducing like way more characters and only really using like less than half of them with really interesting designs. Like, I actually really like the Vizards, but only about like, I want to say like 5 or 6 of them really get a chance to shine.
Yeah, and again, they don't even get a chance to shine. We don't get to learn to care about them until, I think, way later. I want to say like 190, I think.
It's around. It's like near the end.
Yeah. This is the first time Rankiku uses her Shikai. She does use it, like, she uses it once at the ending of the Soul Society arc, when, like, the guy whose sword can make your sword heavier makes her sword heavier. And then she's like, I got a trick up my sleeve. And then she activates her Shikai and it turns into dust. And it's like, okay, cool.
Sand,
whatever. Same thing. But yeah, Orihime's character arc is pretty cool. And it comes to kind of... It just takes way too long. And there's way too many scenes about it. And also Ichigo going back and forth about his hollow this entire time. The kitty litter sword! It's Ash. Okay, we're both wrong. It's Ash! Ash Ketchum. Da-da-da-da-da. Hi, Neko, yeah. Literally Ash Cat. Wow. Learned some Japanese. Hi is Japanese for Ash. Like in Hai Ito, which means gray or ash color. And then Neko from cat. Wow. There's your Japanese lesson for the day.
Hooray.
I'm just looking in the order of my notes. This is something almost unrelated, but Shinji, which is like he like comes to the world of the living. He also kind of dwaddles around for a bit. It takes way too long because he shows up and it was like, hey Ichigo, come join our game because you can't control your powers. And he's like, shut up, I can't control my powers. And then he can't control his powers, and Shinji's like, haha, I told you can't control your powers. And Ichigo's like, shut up, I can't control my... That goes back and forth 50 times until Ichigo finally goes like, hey, can you help me train my powers? Hey, by the way.
And the sad thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, that he doesn't even go to help him out. Like, he doesn't go to learn how to control his powers in this batch of episodes.
No, he does. This batch...
Oh, he does? Okay.
Episode 127 is like... it goes up to, like, Ichigo fights his inner hollow and then learns to put on his hollow mask for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about how Shinji, in the original anime, in the dub, was voiced by Roger Craig Smith, which if you remember, is the current voice actor of Sonic the Hedgehog,
mm-hmm.
Which was really funny, because, back when I first watched this dub, he wasn't the voice of Sonic yet. This was like back in 2007, 2008. It wasn't until like 2010 with Sonic Colors that Roger Craig Smith started doing Sonic. So the first time watching this, it was like, oh, it's that guy from Say Yes to the Dress. Because he was also the narrator in the reality TV show Say Yes to the Dress, where people picked out wedding dresses and they made a reality TV show about that. Don't worry about it. But, yeah, rewatching this first arc and just hearing Sonic the Hedgehog antagonize Ichigo is so funny, dude. Honestly, hot take, I think he has a better Shinji voice than a Sonic voice.
I don't think that's a hot take. But I just found out that apparently he doesn't voice Shinji anymore.
Yeah,
He's sad.
he's Roger Craig Smith is too good for us now. That in the new anime he got replaced by someone who sounds a lot like Roger Craig Smith but isn't Roger Craig Smith. Some guy called Jason Griffith. No. Imagine though.
Imagine. Oh my god. That'd be so funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess is being Sonic that much of a... Because I feel like Bleach is about as, almost as high level, as high, like, profile as Sonic. So, like, why would you... My only guess is that it has to be, like, a union thing.
Yeah, I would assume it's either a union or even possibly, like, a scheduling thing.
I don't know.
That happens sometimes.
He's replaced by Arx Lee in the 1,000-Year Blood War onwards. So that's cool.
I'm a bit sad because we pretty much touched on almost everything interesting in this arc.
I mean, I still have some notes, some random notes. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, as we were saying earlier, like, outside of Shinji being voiced by Sonic and the Hedgehog... It was so funny rewatching this series because of that. But yeah, yeah, Shinji is a interesting character. The Vizards are cool because they're like, oh, are they on Aizen's side? Are they their own force? Are they gonna help us? Who knows? But like, they're and all the other Vizards, they're just right now they're just cool designs. Like they'll become good characters later, but like, yeah. They're not cool characters right now. Yeah, what Tevin was saying about the music in this arc, though? Listen. We'll give the arc this much. The music is sick. Because, like, for, like, the Arrancar, like, their whole, like, song motif is, like, Spanish guitar music, and that's sick as hell. And I think Shinji also has, like, a weird, different brand of, music, like the Vizards in general, and I think that's a sick ass. Like the soundtrack still slaps. Right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm trying to think if any like crazy new songs showed up in this arc or like in this specific batch of episodes. But it is like this whole major arc that really starts to get the very like cool Spanishy songs.
Yeah, like I can't do it. I'm like, especially since I have my own background music, but you get the idea. It's Spanish guitar song, a lot of like funky music. Song has to get this game. Anime still has good music. And that continues to be the case. And I kind of like that they have like a unique identity for different like antagonists. Like the Arrancar are based around like different like Spanish terms. Like they use to like the first of all they're like numbers. The dub doesn't translate this for some reason, but when they introduce like their numbers, they introduce them in Spanish in the Japanese version. Oh. So Grimjaw is like Sexta Espada, and I'm like Sexta.
The dub definitely should have did that. That's a shame. I didn't know the Japanese did that.
But yeah, but they still keep a lot of other things. Like all their like sword release names are Spanish. Even like before, like in the Hollows in general, like we knew about Cero, which is Spanish for zero. So yeah, there's a lot of like I don't know, I think it's cool like how again, Taikubo like being aware of other cultures other than Japan, because like the Soul Reapers are all like Japan, but like then we also have characters like Chad who is Mexican, and then we also have the Quincy's that are like German or something. Don't worry about that till later. And then all the Hollows and by extension the Arrancar are all have like Spanish names, and I think that's really sick. It gives each thing its own like identity, because there is a lot of overlap between Arrancar and Soul Reapers. Like I was gonna say everything we said about Bankai last discussion also applies for the like the release of the swords, the Resurrection. right?
Yes.
You like Resurrection? Again, we don't get to see too much of it, but we get to see the general idea where it's like, it's basically, they don't have a Shikai, they just have a Bankai, and it's pretty much just the Bankai.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they pretty much make it equal to a Bankai, and they explain it well to the point where it's like, okay, well, we know what to look forward to in the same way we know to look forward to for the captains with their Shikais and Bankais, and like the same idea.
Yeah. And you can kind of
formula.
You can kind of tell it's not quite as much as Shikai and Bankai, but you can kind of tell. There was a general logical progression of what their Bankai looks like, because like their mask like evolves into their whole like face and covers their whole body, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that Grimjaw kind of has like a tiger mask, and that might be a hint for what his Resurrection might looks like. You know what I mean? Wink, wink. Yeah, Tevin was saying in chat about how yeah, okay, I was gonna talk about that. So Tevin was saying in chat for the Arrancar have two different translations. It's Spanish for to tear off and Japanese for ripped mask. And how they do that is they use what's called furigana, which is basically like, okay, so you have kanji, and kanji are like characters that represent words, and they have certain readings. And with furigana generally tells you how to read it, and it's usually used for like younger kids, for like if you don't know the kanji, or like it's a too high level of a kanji if like you're making like a kid's book or something. Or even like shonen has it too. Some of the more complicated or rare kanji. But sometimes authors, writers in Japanese will specifically use furigana, the wrong furigana, on purpose. Like, to be like, okay, so the text has this meaning, but instead of reading it the way that you would think that it's read, it has its own unique reading that's specific to this series. Right? Does that make sense?
It does.
I know.
Educational.
I know you're a big weeb, and you're also half learning Japanese, so you might be familiar with the concept. But yeah,
vaguely.
I know. Because I know this because I actually have some Japanese index books, a certain magical index. I know that for espers, the furigana reads like esuba, but the actual like kanji that the furigana is supposedly reading says like something like noryokusha, which is the actual like Japanese word for esper. So they do the same thing with Bleach, and they try to translate that to anime because they literally like write it out, but then in the dub they don't bother to translate that at all. But yeah, Arrancar, the furigana says Arrancar, which is Spanish for tear off, but the Japanese uses literally the kanji for torn and mask. Yeah, I don't remember Bala, but I remember Seto. Seto is Spanish for zero, and the Japanese kanji reads hollow flash in the kanji. So I think that's cool. I might just be a massive weeb, but I appreciate when I might just be a massive weeb, and also the writer in me is just appreciates when writers use all of the language quirks available to them to make interesting stories.
No, it's definitely really cool, and I'll be honest, it's very unique to Bleach, especially for like not just anime, but even shonen in general, because a lot of them either just only take place in Japan or some other fantasy place that's very Japanese influenced, and if they ever pull from any language, it's usually just English.
Yeah. Well, we also might get some British stuff later, depending on if I want to include certain aspects of the extended canon into this discussion series or not.
Ooh, I don't even know what he's talking about. Ooh.
Do you not know what I'm talking about the magical girl that we may or may not have to light on fire? That one.
Oh.
That may or may not take place in the same universe as the Bleach.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. I still haven't gone around to that yet.
Well, maybe that's more of a reason to include that in this series. But that's like way later, like after we finish the original series.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba. Burning Sailor Moon! Lighting the Sailor Moon on fire. Da-da-da. Okay, anyway, there are two more big things I wanted to talk about. First was the dads. I like the dads. They were like relatively early on in this arc. Where like
Oh yeah.
Uryu and Ichigo's dad are Quincy and Soul Reapers respectively, and I think that's another thing I just kind of like. As I like family dynamics in anime. I'm a sucker for that. I like good family dynamics, and I appreciate, you know, Uryu lost his powers twice if you listen to the anime. Again, the whole part about they don't let the filler die because in the filler, Uryu got his powers back and then lost them again. But, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, yeah, I like Uryu, like, being all powerless, and then his dad, like, oh, by the way, even though I said I hated Quincy's, I still am a Quincy, and I'll still help you. And I think that's pretty sick. And then Ichigo's dad, in particular, I think is also very surprising about how, like, A, he's a Soul Reaper, and B, he's allegedly a captain level Soul Reaper. And I think that's just an interesting dynamic, because up until this point, Ichigo's dad has just kind of been a joke character. And listen, that's a trope in shonen that I love a lot, is when the joke character gets serious. Oh my god, I love it so much. I remember Zatch Bell did that too. Had like a joke character, and then like midway through the series, suddenly they were all serious, and it was sick.
Gash Bell, by the way.
Yeah, Gash Bell, you're right.
Yeah, I actually I don't feel too strongly about Ichigo's dad, but I do think it is a pretty epic moment. It's the moment I distinctly remember like watching and being like, so why are these filler characters hanging out here? Because they do show up there.
Yeah, because it was during Ichigo. It was during the reappearance of Grand Fisher, who's like now an Arrancar, and he shows up, and it's a little disappointing that Ichigo doesn't get his rematch with Grand Fisher. But I still think, you know, if anyone other than Ichigo was gonna kill Grand Fisher, then Ichigo's dad, you know, because Grand Fisher didn't just kill Ichigo's mom, it was also Ichigo's dad's wife.
That's right.
Yeah. Did they do that? I noticed he had like a weird cave, but I didn't notice that it was done intentionally to cover his like squad number. That's really funny.
Oh, that is interesting if that's true. Wow.
Yeah,
Kubo thought of everything.
He thought of everything, or just was like, I'll hopefully think of it later. I'll decide on it later. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. The one thing I did want to say about Ichigo's dad is that people complain that, like, you know, Ichigo is like the trope main character where like he's not really special, he's just a regular dude, and then actually, oh yeah, actually he's the prophesized one, you know, a long bloodline, he was the chosen one, and he actually is a super special dude, and that's a thing that a lot of people hate, and I would normally be tempted to agree. But again, as we talked about, like, I think in the first part of this series, the whole point of this series is exploring Ichigo's character, specifically about, like, his powers, you know. In the whole first arc, we had whole Ichigo, you know, trying to learn how to, he had to borrow Rukia's powers in order to help protect his friends, and he had to get his own Soul Reaper powers. And then in this arc, he had to learn how to control his, like, hollow powers, and like trying to find that kind of like balance within himself and all this spiritual stuff. So I think it kind of like lends to this. I think it not so much now, but like later in the series, I think it does a lot. It works really well with the themes that the series is going for, about, you know, Ichigo has a lot of these like conflicting things going on within him, and the whole series is about him like finding peace within himself. And the series said before that, like, he had innate Soul Reaper powers within him, and that Rukia's powers, like, just awakened them, so it makes sense. It makes sense that, like, oh yeah, Ichigo's dad is actually a really powerful Soul Reaper, and that's why Ichigo has Soul Reaper powers. As Grand Fisher said. So yeah, and I think that's cool, you know, and especially in this arc where like, you know, Ichigo's kind of having an identity crisis, where Shinji specifically sparks this, where he's like, "Oh, you don't belong with the Soul Reapers. You belong with us, the Vizards." And Ichigo's like, "Fuck you!" But yeah, I think it's cool. I think especially in this arc about Ichigo trying to find balance between his Soul Reaper and his Hollow powers and moving on. You know, I think you know, it's all a metaphor about coming to age and talking and discovering who you really are and how you can make all these different contradicting aspects of your personality coalesce into a singular being, and it's sick, and that's what makes Bleach unique and cool, right?
Yeah. I also really like just how Ichigo does have like a lot of multiple paths to choose from, and not just for his own character and how good that is for like the symbology of Bleach, but just also like world building wise. Like, it's easier to have a character that can do a bit of everything. That way he has reasons to like talk to the Vizards and like see them, right? Because if let's say if we were just following a character like say Rukia, for example, we don't really know how often she'd like talk to a Vizard or others.
Which fun fact, in the one shot like pilot episode chapter of Bleach, Rukia was the main character. Or I think in some like earlier renditions, Rukia was the main character. Maybe not in that one shot. So I think in that one shot it was more or less the same, where Ichigo was still the main character, but I just remember Rukia being small for some reason. Which, when she lost her power, she became small in the whatever. Not important. But what you were saying, like, yeah, again, Ichigo is a good main character in the way that, like, you know, it lets us explore all these different, you know, themes and lets him have a connection. Because when he sees, when he sees Grimmjow, it's like, oh, that's kind of like where Ichigo wants to be, where Grimmjow has like Soul Reaper and Hollow powers that are kind of combining into one to be greater than the sum of its parts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She was the first created Bleach character. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. But yeah.
I can believe that.
And then Uryu's dad is just cool, and he's just kind of there, and he gets his son's powers back. I'm not 100% sure why he does this, because he's like, he hates Quincy's. But he's like, I'll give you, even though I hate Quincy's and I don't want you to be a Quincy, I'll get your Quincy powers back as long as you stop helping stupid Soul Reapers. And he's like, yeah, sure, wink wink. Don't worry about that one. Any other screenshots I had I wanted to talk about? I like when Ichigo is getting the F beat out of him against Yami. I forget her name. Urahara and the cat. Frick, what was her name? Yoruichi show up and beat up those guys. And those are the screenshot that I thought was funny.
This was also another part where the animation, from what I remember, was not too bad.
Yeah,
There's some Sakuga here.
It was pretty cool. I also liked the somewhat continuity, because like in the Soul Society arc, the reason that Urahara, a captain level Soul Reaper, was not helping was because he just was banned from the Soul Society. Like, they had a specific scene where like he tried to go for the portal and like something was blocking him. But like here they can help because he just shows up and he shoots out a thing from his sword. They also do like a really cool foreshadowing for his Bankai, which doesn't show up for like ever. But like, you know, when Chad wants to train and Urahara's like, hey, go use your Bankai to train Chad, and Renji's like, why don't you use your Bankai? And he's like, my Bankai isn't for training or helping people, it only kills. And then you're like, what's his Bankai? What's his Bankai? Can't wait to see what his Bankai is in 15,000 episodes. Gotta wait 20 years for that.
It's gonna take a long time.
He says with tears in his eyes. Is that what he says? Yeah, he says something to that effect. Like, oh, my Bankai isn't for training or helping people. I don't know if he says it, if it's only for killing, but he definitely says something to the effect of, my Bankai is not for helping people. But yeah. Anyway, another random thing. I like all the fan favorite characters that show up for this arc and then leave. Like, as bad as this arc is, I do like that aspect.
We do get to see Toshiro again, and I still think he kind of gets owned a little bit too much at the start. But the second they let him use his Bankai, at least we get to see some cool stuff.
It wasn't, he was using his Bankai, it was the power limiter, because he was in the Bankai with the power limiter, and he almost lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like that they unabashedly. I appreciate the fact that they unabashedly like brought back the most popular characters for little to no reason. They're like, yeah, Toshido, Rankiku, Bald Guy. Those are all the popular characters from the Soul Society. Let's just bring them back. I think the only other popular characters like Byakuya and Kenpachi, which they would have to do a lot more stretching to get brought back, but. Whatever, they every character that doesn't die gets brought back eventually, so don't worry about it. But yeah, I just like that. That's the only reason that you would want to watch the filler episodes that take place between now and the next batch of episodes. Because it's just them hanging out in the world of the living, helping people for random reasons. Yeah, no. They're fun characters. Maybe it's just because I'm on a rewatch, but they're just fun characters.
Yeah.
Watch them go to school, yeah. They're like, I don't understand, like, because Shinji went to school for, like, 2 days and then never went back again. And then, all those other guys went to school and then never came back. Anyway, already on the last thing I want to talk about for this batch of episodes, which is the Ichigo Hollow Ichigo fight, which I think is really sick. Again, I know you're a big fan of the Hollow Ichigo character.
I love him, and why can't Ichigo use his sword like Hollow Ichigo? It doesn't make sense.
Hollow Ichigo, yeah, because even after Hollow Ichigo goes like Bankai, he does the spinning around the sword with the thing again, and yeah, it doesn't make sense because like when that first happened, it was like to show Ichigo, like, oh, you're not using all of Zangetsu's power, you know? But then he learns that lesson and then still doesn't use it like that, so I don't know, man. Shirosaki still have his gross teeth? Who are you talking about?
Am I not a big enough Bleach fan to know who Shirosaki is?
Oh, I found on the Bleach... Okay, I googled Bleach Shirosaki, and who the fuck else? It is. I don't know how I've never heard of this before. Apparently, it's the fan name for
Hollow Ichigo,
White Ichigo, Kurosaki, Shirosaki. I get it. Black, white.
That's actually a really cool, clever name. I wonder if Japanese fans use that distinction to call him that.
I don't know. You think I would know that? Because I know a lot of other like weird Japanese fan base things.
Yeah. Wow. I also never heard of it.
But other than hearing Nene rant about how she wrote a very long Bleach fanfic in high school, Japanese VTuber. I don't know much. I don't know. I just wasn't a hardcore weeb when Bleach was popular. So I wasn't super huge on that.
We were dub fans.
We were dub fans. I'm trying to fix that, but you know, some dubs are still good. But yeah, anyway, I always just hear people call him White or Hollow Ichigo. At least until later, he may or may not get an actual name. Anyway, yeah, I like this whole aspect again. They spend like, what is this, 18 episodes? They spend like 15 episodes about Ichigo and blah moping around, and then they just resolve it in like the 2 episodes it takes to fight Hollow Ichigo, where Hollow Ichigo talks about like instinct. You remember about the speech about the king and his horse?
Yeah.
Where Hollow Ichigo's like, you know, what's the difference between a king and his horse? You know, if their powers are the same, why does one carry around the king and the other lead the horse into battle or whatever? It's because it's instinct, and that's kind of like the point of Ichigo's character arc in this arc, I need to find a new word than arc. Character development in this series of episodes. But yeah, up until this point, Ichigo hasn't, like, fought anyone outwardly evil. I think we were talking about that a little bit last time.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, there's nobody really evil in the Soul Society. They were just doing their job. So he wasn't, and most of the people that Ichigo murdered ended up being friends. Like, now he's all friends with Renji.
Yeah. Even Byakuya,
Yeah.
to a small degree.
And then the only other people he was fighting was, like, you know, emotionless, you know, mindless monsters. I don't know what you're talking about, the gross teeth. Oh, with the... I think I might know what you're talking about. I don't have a screenshot of it. But he had, like, weirdly different colored... He had weird black teeth, I think. I vaguely remember what you're talking about. But he looks fine. He just looks like a different color Ichigo. I have another picture. Wait, I have that picture that I posted for a Twitter meme. You see that meme about shoutouts to evil versions of the main character? Gotta be one of my favorite genders. I have it from that. I can't believe I forgot Shadow the Hedgehog in that category. Yeah, he just has regular teeth. He has, like, weird different teeth. Whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, I like it. But yeah, the difference between the last arc and this arc is this arc, like, he does just fight people who are just evil and want to kill him. And he has to kill, you know? It's more of a... Ichigo doesn't really want to, like killing people. Ichigo has a lot of, like... He didn't even kill, / purify, like, Orihime's brother. Remember? Because, like, he couldn't... When he was fighting Orihime's, like, hollow brother, like, he couldn't bring himself to, like, fight him. Right? It's kind of like that character arc. And even throughout the Soul Society, like, he never killed anyone. So that's what Hollow Ichigo is saying, whereas, like, if you don't have the instinct to kill, then you can't possibly hope to win the future battles, because the future battles will become more intense and evil, you know? I think that's a cool arc, because it makes Ichigo... I mean, Ichigo's, you know, a bad boy, but he's a good boy at heart. He doesn't want to kill anyone, but he does want to protect people. So there's kind of, like, and to protect people, he's gonna have to kill somebody. Again, don't take any lessons in real life. Don't take any of these lessons literally. It's all supposed to be metaphorical about, you know, coming to terms with these contradicting feelings inside of you. But yeah, for the purposes of the metaphor / show, he's gonna have to, you know, learn to suck it up and stop being such a goody two-shoes all the time and actually get a killing instinct. And that's what that kind of fight was all about. That's what it was about the horse and the king. Where, like, you know, you have to have the instinct in order to fight. Which, fun fact, they do... Remember that horse and the king line, because they do bring that back somewhat, I think. Talk about that later in, like, 500 more episodes.
The foreshadowing.
Is it foreshadowing or retcon? We'll never know. But yeah, I think at this point it's also still questionable where Hollow Ichigo came from. Is it a part of Ichigo? Or, like, remember in the initial training episode where, like, Ichigo came out with a hollow mask and, like, a Soul Reaper cloth? Remember? So it's like, oh, is that where Hollow Ichigo came from? What's going on? And then Hollow Ichigo's mask showed up and saved him a couple of times. So, you know, I think it's... Is it foreshadowing or is it not? I don't know. Who cares? Murder to live? Well, it's like murder to protect. Like, he wants to protect his friends, but he doesn't want to... He doesn't want to hurt anyone. Murder is wrong. And murder is wrong. Don't kill anyone. This is an anime / metaphor. Don't take these things literally. You can't solve all your problems by going Bankai. It's a metaphor. Please have some media literacy. Don't fall for the in-universe propaganda. Anyway, yeah, I like that. I like that part. Ichigo's a more interesting shonen protagonist because of that. And I don't have a whole lot of other shonen protagonists to compare to. Other than Naruto, Deku, Full Metal Alchemist guy.
I wouldn't call that a shonen, but Goku, you know Goku.
Oh yeah, Goku. Yeah, they all are just like good boys that want to protect people. And Ichigo is also a good boy who wants to protect people, but like his ideals are more challenged, you know? He's closer on the Emiya side of things than the Naruto side of things, you know? About having other shonen, Ichigo being different from other shonen protagonists. Naruto's like, I want to be the Hokage, and then he works really hard, and then he... Spoiler. Is that a spoiler? I think that's something just everybody knows about. But yeah, anyway, but Ichigo, like, you know, he wants to be strong to protect his friends, and though his ideals are challenged more. Just like the hit series, Fate Stay Night. You know about that series, don't you?
Oh, I know about it.
I do want to cover other anime. That might be another series, but I do want to do some shorter series. We will at some point take a break from Bleach to talk about other anime, because I've wanted to talk about other anime, and we've just been talking about Bleach this whole time. But I want to get it to a good stopping point with Bleach, so we'll keep going for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I also like, anyway, some ending things of this part. Don't know why I have this bookmarked. Ichigo just getting his shit popped in. Don't worry about it.
There was a lot of Sakuga. I had this on my other monitor. I was trying to look at the fight, and it still looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's still, there's like random spikes of quality here and there. So we'll take it.
Definitely the best the show looked. I mean, unless the Bound arc had some crazy Sakuga.
It didn't.
I have a feeling I have a feeling I can trust you on that.
I specifically looked it up, and I'm like, I cannot find anything. I looked at the last fight because I'm like, surely the last fight, the final fight, has to have something. And I'm like, not really.
True to its name.
I was just saying. I also like this form of Hollow Ichigo. That's like the 15th form of Ichigo. Because so far we've had Human Ichigo, Regular Soul Reaper Ichigo, Shikai Ichigo, Bankai Ichigo, and then we have this Hollow Ichigo, and then the other Hollow Ichigo, and then the Hollow Mask Ichigo.
I do like how during this whole part where he's learning like how to control his hollow and all that.
Ichigo? Sorry, go on.
I do like that. They kind of expand on this from the little I know about filler. They do kind of go into like some filler stuff with this and show more interesting things. I'm not too sure. I could be lying to you.
From what I remember and from what looking up, the only thing that happens in the Bound is that I don't know. In the Bound arc specifically, like it's just what happens in the Byakuya fight where like the mask comes on and he takes over for a second for like in a fight. But yeah, I think you're right that this form specifically comes back does not come back in canon, but does come back later in a filler arc.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the good filler arcs. I don't remember. But yeah, AMV Ichigo's cool, and then the scene where it's like this, and then it falls off, revealing just him with the mask. Sick. We were talking
that's cool.
We were talking last time about how Ichigo's Bankai is like a little underwhelming design-wise, and how it gets better later. This is kind of what I was talking about, at least. Like the Bankai, like with his hollow mask, is like really sick. Like really good contrasting colors.
That wasn't at all what I was talking about, but I do actually agree.
Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about later on.
I was talking about something a lot later on, yeah.
Yeah. His gross hair, yeah, I don't know why the hair falls off with all the hollow stuff in this screenshot. That's really funny. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think it's a cool design. It's very simple, but very cool. I like simple and cool designs. As you can see by kind of me, right? I have a simple, cool... Azerad, do you think I look cool?
Yeah.
Peeling sunburnt skin and a glop of hair comes off. It'd be funny if Ichigo had like a big bald patch there. But yeah, I think Ichigo's, like, arm got cut off at some point. The Hollow, like, regrew it. So, like, I don't know what's going on. It's a spirit. He's in a spirit form, so I guess it doesn't really matter. He can, like, heal himself, I guess. I don't know, man. It's weird. Also, with this background, can I just ask, why are there 3 identical training areas in Bleach that all have the same, like, blue sky desert background?
Yeah, not great.
Because there's under Urahara's place, and then there's, like, another one in the Soul Society, and they're like, oh, I can understand too. It's like, oh, they modeled that one after the one in the Soul Society, so that's why they're the same. Okay, Urahara made both places. But why do the visors also have this? Why? It was really apparent because they cut between 2 different scenes of, like, Ichigo training with his mask and Renji and Chad training. And it was, like, the same background. Why? Why are there 3 identical training areas in this series? It's really funny. There's not a 4th, spoiler alert. Like, some of the reoccurring ones, like, you know, Ichigo's inner world with the sideways skyscrapers. That one has a reason for coming back, and that one's sick as hell. And they do interesting things with that later on in the series.
Bleach has a lot of fighting game training areas.
Fighting game training areas, yeah, big empty training area. But, you know, I like the skyscraper. Because they actually have done something with it so far in the series. Because when he first went to it, his, like, heart was in turmoil, so that's why he, like, fell off the skyscraper and he had to get his Soul Reaper powers back. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. But then when he came back, he's like, whoa, why is everything not falling anymore? It's like, because your heart is at peace or whatever. But, so yeah, they do more things with that. And the last thing I want to say about these batch of episodes is, I forgot that they talked about Aizen's plans to destroy Karakura Town. And, like, I also forgot they name-dropped the Soul Palace and the Soul King so early. I thought that was like a retcon thing later, but no, they did actually bring that up this early on. Where they were like, oh yeah, you know, Aizen wants to create, like, this key, needs to sacrifice to 1 billion souls to make this key so he can get to the Soul Palace and then can kill the Soul King. And, like, that does come back later, but I thought, actually, I didn't think it was brought up at all until later in the series. I didn't know it was this early. Is the Endless Mind Void supposed to be something Ichigo's mind place? The skyscraper part? It's just Ichigo's inner world. I don't know why it's a skyscraper. Don't ask me. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm sure the sideways skyscraper represents something. Maybe it represents, like, the duality of his world or something. I don't know, man. Don't... Shut up. I'll get back to you on that later. I'll think about that and get back to you on that one. Thought it was supposed to be Karakura Town, like a skyscraper version of Karakura Town, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it's ever, like, defined. I think it just... I don't even think there are skyscrapers in Karakura Town.
I don't know. Also, we get a map of where Karakura Town is, and it lines up with Yokohama, Japan. So if you want to go to the real Karakura Town, you can go to Yokohama, Japan, which does not look anything like Karakura Town, so I don't know why they put that on the map. Maybe that was just a random anime-only thing. Because when they were talking about Aizen's plan, they were like, oh yeah, you know, Aizen needs a place with a lot of spirit energy, so where is that? And then they pulled it up on the map, and then they zoomed in on Karakura Town. And it was in Japan, in the place where Yokohama would be. So I don't know, man. Do you have anything else you want to say about this arc?
No, I can't think of too much.
Yeah, again, I'm surprised we got this much time out of it. I'm fine.
Me too, honestly.
I'm fine with some of these being shorter. Yeah, I mean, we got introduced to the Arrancar. We got a cool fight. We got a Grimmjow fight. We got the Hollow Ichigo fight. Even though in the anime it was they had filler episode in the middle of that fight. But actually, that wasn't that bad. Because all that time, I believe I could be wrong, but like in the middle of that fight, he had like flashbacks to like previous fights against Byakuya and Kenpachi and some guy I don't recognize. Like he has flashbacks to those fights. Obviously the filler guy is anime only, but I'm pretty sure even the Byakuya and Kenpachi flashbacks were also or like hallucination fights were also anime only. But I mean, they were entertaining because they did talk about like the themes of the arc, you know, about how, you know, Ichigo doesn't like to kill anybody. Like the Bount guy was like, "Oh yeah, you regret killing me, don't you, Ichigo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that kind of lines up to Ichigo's character. That makes sense."
Mm-hmm.
If that didn't take 40 very boring long episodes, I could see that making sense.
That would be a really cool, part of the story if it wasn't
So
fake.
just pretend it was like, you know, a video game or something. I don't know, man. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. Again, the lull of the series, but you know, if you're not watching it week by week and you skip all the filler, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's just like 30 episodes that are like a little boring. Wada. I talk way too fast, I know. Anyway, yeah, so next time... I can't find it. I'm gonna sneeze. Ha! 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 It disappeared, I'm sorry.
I was waiting to say bless you.
I can't do it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, 138 to 149. This is, it's kind of awkwardly spaced up because this is only 12 episodes. And there doesn't, not a lot happens in it, but, shut up!
I think it takes a while for this arc to get started fully, but I mean, I guess, I'll save that till next time.
Yeah, I think, like, the next batch of episodes is more the same. I mean, there is... It's not completely bad. There is another cool fight, and one of my favorite scenes of the series is in this next batch of episodes. So I'll probably just talk about that the whole time. And then the next batch of episodes starts to pick up near the end, and then after that we're good. So yeah, I think that's actually where we stop. I do want to take a little break from Bleach. To talk about other anime, because as I said before, during my debut, I wanted to talk about other anime, and so far it's just been about Bleach. So I do want to do other anime discussions, take a little bit of a break from Bleach, and also, because we're almost, not quite, but we're almost like 100 episodes in. Let me see, we're like 60, whatever 63 plus 18 is. 81, yeah. So we'll go a little bit farther, and then we'll take a little bit of a break. And also because the 1000-Year Blood War is gonna be airing soon, and everyone's gonna be focused on that and not talking about old Bleach. So that might be another reason to want to stop. But I want to at least get past this lull. So then when we do get back to Bleach, it'll just be like non-stop good Bleach 24/7. You know, it'll be like the first 3 episodes of this series where it was just like, oh my gosh, this series is so good. Because again, it's not bad, but like, you know, it's definitely the low point of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to getting past it. Even then, again, it's not that bad. There's a lot of cool things that we talked about. But yeah, there's also a movie coming up. That hopefully your internet won't die with.
I don't think it will. That was a
one. I was expecting
quick chance.
I was expecting my internet to die out. I got it like 5 minutes before I started the stream. I got a tornado warning.
Yeah, there's a tornado coming near here too. So. Uh-oh.
How coincidental. Anyway.
Alright.
That's it. I hope y'all enjoyed. More Bleach, this next discussion series. Yeah, probably 2 weeks. Because...
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, okay. It'll be 2 weeks as usual, even though it's only like 12 episodes. Can these tornadoes fuck off? Why don't you go outside and scream that to the tornado? I'm pretty sure that's on the list of things you need to do with a tornado. Do I have a meme image about tornadoes? Do I have a meme? I think I have a meme image about tornadoes. Hold on. Give me a minute. Is it a funny image? Is it gonna be worth all of our time? Shut up. Is it even going to be relevant to what we're talking about? There was a big one here a couple weeks ago. Don't worry about it. Just don't get hit by the tornado and you'll be fine. Just, stop being bad. Can you imagine actually getting hit with a tornado in real life? It's so, easy to... Here it is, I found it. How you lost to me, swordsman fighter, just shield. Anyway, that's it. That's all I had to say. Just shield. Just shield. The hitbox goes away as soon as you shield. So you just shield it and then run through the tornado, okay? So next time you see a tornado, just shield it and then the hitbox goes away and then you can run through the tornado and punish it. Anyway.
Anyway, thanks for having me again.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. And thanks for not dying in a tornado.
Yeah, you know, I try to do that just for you.
I try, you know what? Every day I try not to get murdered by a tornado. Just for you. Like, aw, really? Just for me? Aw, thanks. Just for you. I'll try not to get stabbed by a cow. Anyway, why do you do these things to me, Azerad? I say something weird and wacky, and then you just kind of don't respond.
I have push to talk on, so I'm trying to, like, I forget to press it while I laugh. Sorry.
I forget to press it while I laugh. Yeah, he's laughing. Don't worry. He's just forgetting to mute his mic. He's laughing at all of my jokes. He's just, you know, he just forgets to unmute his mic every time. He thinks I'm funny. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Bleach for the moment. Short stream, but I don't have anything else to talk about. It's Bleach. Next time, more Bleach. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for chatting, Tevin. You actually taught me something new. I'll give you that one, Tevin. Shirosaki, I've never heard of before. But we'll use that from now on. Because he does, like, come back a couple times. Because he makes a threat. He's like, as soon as he's being defeated, he's like, you know, if you have a second of weakness, if you ever die ever again, I'll come back. And, you know, it's a effing story, so you know that when a character says that something bad will happen, it's gonna happen, right? Like, that's not a spoiler, right? Like, if
I don't think that's a spoiler.
If bad guy's like, oh, you can't let this happen because then this other bad thing will happen. Like, of course that bad thing's gonna happen. That's how stories work. So of course Ichigo's gonna die at some point and Hollow Ichigo's gonna come back. You'll be sick. Don't worry about it. It's not a spoiler. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Love you all. More streams soon. Do you have any last words, Azerad?
I love Shirosaki, yeah.
Yay! I hope Ichigo dies, just so we can see him come back.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway, next time, fudge, what's that Yu-Gi-Oh character name? You know,
Character name?
Yugi's friend who had like a Boston accent in the dub.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. There was like
Junichi in Japanese.
Junichi, yeah. There's a meme where like there's a preview for the next episode, and everyone's like, "You can do it, Junichi! I believe in you, Junichi!" And then the title announcer's like, "Next time on Yu-Gi-Oh, Junichi dies." It's like, "I believe in you, Joey Wheeler. You can do it." Next time on Yu-Gi-Oh, Joey Wheeler fucking dies. It's really funny. So anyway, next time Ichigo may or may not die. He'll die at some point. Don't worry about it. Anyway. Yeah, Ichigo, he's gonna die trying to get the medicine for his sister's wedding or something. Wait. I got that back. Anyway, goodbye. I'm really bad at ending streams, but I hope y'all enjoy. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. At some point, Azerad will have an actual physical form. He just...
Ooh.
We look forward to that at some point in the future. Okay. Actually, ending. Goodbye. Especially since I'm dying. The holding in that sneeze is killing me. I'm gonna go exhale the demons. I'm gonna go bleach my throat out. And by that I mean I won't actually drink bleach. I mean I'll metaphorically cleanse my...
Don't do that, yeah.
Cleanse my... Don't drink bleach. Don't drink bleach. Watch Bleach.
I'll do what I do at the end of every one of these streams and use the bathroom. I've been holding in after a certain point.
Dude has the smallest bladder. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
You would never make it as a teacher. They don't let you go to the bathroom at all.
You know, I always used to think about that. I'm like, what do teachers do when they have to go to the bathroom?
Suffer. That's what we do.
What do you do if you're like a pilot? I guess you could put it on autopilot.
You also have a co-pilot.
That's true, yeah, exactly.
Okay, bye.